So
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining me today, Rajni.
you're welcome. It's my honor.
So how has been your day so far?
My day was pretty hectic today, though I didn't take sessions.
Hmm.
There was some network issues in the morning, and then I went somewhere like to my aunt's home. And we have functions in this month, end of this month, marriage and all. So we started preparing for that. So it was a quite busy day. What about you?
So a very usual day at school, and now I have to
Mhm.
study, and there are a few sessions that I have to take. This usual day.
So you connect to people only in the evenings every day?
Not every day. I usually connect on Saturday and Sundays, or if somebody is too busy, then I conduct in between, like 5 days.
Uh,
Otherwise, it is just Saturday and Sunday.
okay. So maybe on Saturday and Sunday you talk to many people in order to just post videos
Yes,
on
just to post
throughout the
videos.
week.
Right.
Okay, great.
In the beginning, I was doing it like throughout the week, but because of my school, and
Hmm.
now that I feel a lot comfortable here talking to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going fine at the moment. But
Great.
Saturday, Sunday, quite busy.
As you have to go to school too, so Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday is fine. Hmm.
I think you don't need to introduce yourself. You're quite famous here. Whoever is
Oh my
watching you, they are
god.
familiar with you.
Oh
Of
my
course you
god,
are.
that's privilege. Thank you.
Of course you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few questions related to your journey, like how you started, especially YouTube. I think you have
Okay.
spoken so many times about your language learning and your
Hmm.
background and all those stuff, but I have never heard you talking about your YouTube journey and why you actually started it.
Oh,
You know?
why I actually started it. Hmm.
Yes. So would you like to talk about it?
Sure. I would definitely love to share about it. So, do you
Just a
have any?
moment, just a moment. If somebody is new on this channel, please tell something about it so that they can get
Oh,
an
yeah.
idea.
In case if somebody is watching this
Yes.
video for the very first time. Yes, okay. So hello everyone out there, and hello Roshan. My name is Rajni Verma. I am from Shri Ganganagar, Rajasthan, which is located on the border of Punjab. So, if I talk about my qualification, I have done my graduation only in the Korean language, but currently I am not doing anything in Korean. I am just pursuing my career in English language only. And I run a YouTube channel. I train people who are beginners and intermediates. If I talk about my hobbies, I love reading books and talking to people. That's all about me.
Great. I hope you remember the last question.
Yes, I remember you asked about the YouTube journey.
Yes.
Uh, this is quite close to my heart, so I cannot forget about it. Okay, so YouTube, when back in 2020, when I was preparing for banking examinations, I had kind of interest in YouTube. I started exploring more YouTube and all, because that time I just totally stopped talking to people, talking to the outer world. Like I was only with myself, and from that time only I started incorporating new habits into myself. So that time I got to know a few famous YouTubers, and one of them is um why am I forgetting the things today? I'm a little occupied today. My mind is
All
okay.
right.
Mm, I know him very well. How can I forget him? The person looks like just like you. The person,
Asutosh.
no. In technical YouTube channels.
Oh, all right.
So so weird.
It's
Oh,
all
now
right.
my mind also is like kind of like I have to remember the name. Oh, the name
Okay,
starts
what's
maybe
the
with
niche?
J.
What's the niche?
J. Technical stuff. He talks about the YouTube itself, like how to
Oh,
start, how to gain
hmm.
4,000 hours of watch time, and then 1,000 of that subscribers and all. Forget. Okay, so that is one person I admired the most, and he started from the basic. Like he didn't have any resource, any environment, and not even the good mobile phone. All but and one more is technical yogi I
Yes.
started following. So that particular person, I'm not able to recall the name, that particular person inspired me a lot to start YouTube. But back then I didn't have much free time, so I, encouraged my brother to start a YouTube channel. And I have a lot of ideas because I started reading and I started exploring people content out there. So Manoj Day, yes, Manoj Day.
Manoj.
Okay, so if you have watched his videos, you will get to know, like, you haven't, uh,
No,
you should watch his videos. He
I'll check
inspired
it
me.
out.
Yeah. So I encouraged my brother, and he started doing good at YouTube, but he didn't do for a long period of time. And he's kind of camera shy, camera conscious, so he
Mm.
didn't show his face on camera. He was just
It was faceless.
yeah, doing the voiceover, and
Yes.
but doing great in it. He did for a few months only.
Mm.
Later he was, always interested in the stock market and digital marketing and then trading and
Mm.
all, so he got occupied there. And then I thought to just do something in YouTube itself. I had that thing in my mind to do something, because one thing was always there in my mind, to do something on my own, like where I don't need uh, anyone else around me. And at the same time, I want myself free from all that, fixed culture, fixed routine, where you have to follow others rule and regulations, not yours. You have to just listen to them and follow their
Mm.
guidelines and follow their routine if you work anywhere, right? So in
Yes,
YouTube, I guess the work I am doing currently is like totally in my hands. Okay,
definitely.
so that's I wanted the freedom of working. I always wanted, but I didn't know from where, which department, which field I should choose. But then when I thought about the YouTube, then I got this idea that here you can, work according to your own self. So that was the only story. And I but I thought to start related to banking back then,
Oh.
because I was preparing for banking and I used to watch
Mm.
videos of banking aspirants, even who got selected, their strategies, they shared a lot of things related. Every
Yes.
person who prepares for any government examination, they share the strategy, timetable, stress management, how to
Kind of
complete, how to
vlogs.
lot of
Mm.
things, right? So I
Yes.
was kind of getting that thing in my mind to start in with this. But I had this thing in my mind, one more thing, which was like, after becoming someone, like after cracking an particular examination or after getting the job, I'll start YouTube. That was my thought. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to crack because I was not interested. So after 2 years I stopped preparing for this, because I got to know about myself, like I have given already my 100% in it. So if I'm still not, then it's not for me. So let's explore something else. And YouTube was there in my mind. So I was thinking, like, now I cannot talk about banking at all because I haven't cracked anything in it. So let me research, let me think what I can do. So I thought to first focus on my communication skills. That was just only for learning purpose, I thought. Okay, so when I started interacting with a few of the tutors on different applications, I thought to just post that as a journey of learning the language. And somehow it worked well, and then I started connecting to people. So that's how, like, universe already like had the thought in my mind and it worked well. But I didn't think to make videos or YouTube journey in this field itself. So it, I think, happened automatically. So, but like, English was the communication skill was only for myself, only not for the YouTube, for the career. But somehow it turned like that. So that's the story.
Like, you always wanted to start YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And were you always confident that it was going to work in the beginning? Like you told that you were inspired by Manoj, right? And he talked about getting views and getting monetize your channel. So, and you
Hmm.
also wanted to work freely, nobody to tell you something that you have to do this, you have to do that. So, in the beginning, were you confident enough that, of course, I can make a living out of it?
Yes, that was in me, because here, when it comes to speaking English, we have sometimes we have, not sometimes, many a times we have limited vocabulary,
Hmm.
and we are not able to actually many a times I feel
Express
that
our ideas.
whatever I want to express, not fully that much, I still need to learn, I still need to learn the language in order to be very 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 effortless. You know how
Yes.
native speaks, we do
Hmm.
not don't need to, no matter how confident, how fluent we are, still we need to think something before we speak, right? It can
Definitely.
be just
Hmm.
immediate in English, but we need to. But when it comes to talk in our own mother tongue or in Hindi, we don't need to think at all. So I
Yes.
had this in my mind that if I start something in my own language, or mostly I was thinking to start in Hindi, so I was
Hmm.
quite confident, like I'll start in different, like I'll try in many different niches, like not in one. So I had
Hmm.
this thing like I will be able to, but I didn't think to make it in English. So yes, yeah.
Great. And like every creator, I think whoever is watching it or somebody who's trying to create something, they can
Hmm.
relate that no matter how many times you try to distract yourself, that I don't care about the results. For example, I have uploaded a video, but no
Hmm.
matter how I try, I always return that how many views or who is commenting. I do
Hmm.
care about the comments, like not the
Hmm.
views and subscribers, but comments are something that I always look forward to. So how was
Hmm.
it for you in the beginning? Like, did you care about the people's feedback or you were indifferent to it?
Of course, because this was the only thing in my mind back then when I started. Like recently, I started teaching also, so I have other stuff, I have other work too, and I have to study. So my mind is a little occupied, and again habitual of checking the YT Studio again and again. So now it is very normal. But initially, I was always like 24, like most of the time if somebody stays with me for 24 hours, they will be like, they will get to know like the most opened application in her phone is the YT Studio. So I used to check again and again, like multiple times in a day. Yeah, we cannot avoid that. I don't know why, I was also very obsessed with it, and it was difficult to control our mind.
Hmm. Like we do care about the outcomes for like I have talked to many creators or I have listened to many creators. They also struggle with that. And the one who is
Hmm.
not like the one who is able to have the command, I think they are doing better than to whomever is not able. Like we care about the outcome, right? But just
Hmm.
imagine somebody who is freely creating and creating for himself or herself. I think
Hmm.
that person can do better. What do you think?
Yes, yeah, I totally agree with it. But I think every single YouTuber checks that. Every single creator has that thing in their mind. Like, if even they are very, very big YouTubers, still they have kind of a benchmark, like this much,
Yes.
this many views usually get. So if they goes down ever, they
Hmm.
just gets bothered. Like, it's very, very natural thing. Like,
Actually.
so
And
yeah.
what's your favorite aspects of it? Like comments, likes, or views? What do you care about? Or subscribers?
Uh, I think comments nowadays, because comments nowadays, uh, when I become little lazy or I procrastinate things, they, push me again. Even in my negative time, like when I am a little bit negative or in my low phase, then I
Hmm.
read sometimes very, very, beautiful comments there. Like immediately, like I'm feeling not to do work, not to edit the video, or not to just have the session, or I cancel without any reason, just to not, like I'm not feeling good. Then
Yes.
I when I see those comments, then I feel like I am somebody. They are saying they like I
Yes.
am somebody. I
Yes.
should do that. So I just come back and I just start. So somewhere they are, kind of a motivation for me. They work for me. Like when they truly share
Hmm.
that, many a times even I get emails too related to that. Not only for just like I want to have a conversation with you. No, they
They are
appreciate me that
appreciating
they
you.
are
Hmm.
watching. We are watching your videos for last 6 months, 8 months, 3 months, and we have been learning a lot of things from your videos. So that somewhere helped me a lot. So that's why I think comments really help me to, push
Hmm.
myself.
I also care about the comments. Like I haven't received many appreciation emails, but when I received my first one, it made my day. Like I couldn't stop
Hmm.
thinking about throughout the day. Like, am I really making changes in somebody's life? And that's what I was thinking. And
Hmm.
you have been doing it for I think almost more than 2 years, right?
2 years, yeah. Hmm.
So how is it for you? Do you ever feel like talking to people? It can get repetitive. For example, I don't have much life experience. I either watch movies or read books. So I have got nothing but to talk about those things. What
Hmm.
about you? Do you ever feel like you are running out of things to say?
Yeah, because the niche is about learning this language, particularly the ways, the methods. So sometimes I feel like when I just think about myself, I feel like I have discussed it like many times.
Many
So I
times.
should
Hmm.
change it. I should bring something new and all. But when I see the viewers, from their perspective, like the viewers, the audience, then as I
Yes.
already, mentioned in my community post too once, that what kind of videos do you guys want to watch on my channel? That I did because I was feeling that thing. So I thought to just
Hmm.
make some solo videos or something else too. So I mentioned there, and many people choose conversational videos. So I thought, okay.
Hmm.
But again, a few people tell me in the comment box also, like in conversational also, they want to see conversations on, particular topics if I can. So I'm
Yes.
thinking to do that too. So they can learn and they can,
Hmm.
enhance their knowledge also in, when it comes to talk on different or random topics spontaneously. So sometimes it feels like, but if your audience know that your channel is about this particular category, then I think we need to
Yes.
stick to that particular niche. Mm.
Definitely. But in the beginning, like, I talk to people in real life and I call it Sasta Podcast. So why I call it Sasta Podcast? Because like, what do we have to talk? Like, apart from our college and school, if you see other
Hmm.
like different YouTubers who are creating podcasts, they are inviting some people or professionals. For example, they invite doctors, engineers, or people
Hmm.
from a well-known background. So what do we have
Hmm.
to talk, right? So that's what I was thinking. And this brings me to another question, like who is editing your videos and your thumbnails? Is it just you or somebody doing it for
Hmm.
you?
Videos, I think, don't require a lot of editing because we have to just
Especially
crop
conversational
and
one.
work on
Hmm.
the lighting and all, the voice lighting and the crop and all things. For thumbnail, yes, somebody else is doing for me.
Yes,
But
that's great.
video, I do by myself. Yeah.
And like, do you want to continue doing it or do you have some other ideas? And one more question. I want you to like, how do you brainstorm for new ideas? Do you have some kind of inspiration or is it just sitting, writing? What's your
Hmm.
process?
So I'll keep doing it because I love talking to people. I love uploading videos on YouTube. Um, what was the second question?
Like your ideas, how do you generate them?
How do I generate ideas?
Yes.
I think when you read a lot, that gives you the ideas. So if I just sit ideally here and I try to think, like, sometimes it happens with me. When I force myself, like, I don't do that because I know that. So it happened with me when I forced to just think of something. I am not able to generate the great content, like to
Yes.
think of out of the box. But when I am totally free, I think like, okay, idea will come automatically, and I focus on the breathing exercise, meditation, and I am just quite consistent
Relax.
with the reading practice, quite consistent with watching people, podcast, observing. Sometimes, I have realized that I have experienced it. Like even one word can give me the whole idea.
Hmm.
And you won't
Definitely.
believe, yeah, you won't believe I have written down, I guess, hundreds of scripts in my different notebooks. Like when idea comes, I immediately start writing and I write it
Yes.
very fast.
Yes.
And sometimes it happens with me like I'm in the middle of something and something, struck into my
Hmm.
mind. I come back and
Triggered.
start writing a few times. My father interrupted me in between, like he was asking something to eat or maybe something. I
Hmm.
stopped them right there, like, do not just interrupt me when I'm
Don't
writing
interrupt
something,
me.
when I'm writing, because sometimes you are getting great ideas and good words even
Yes.
related to that topic, and I get it even in the points also. Like points
Hmm.
also
Bullet
my mind
points.
immediately creates. So when I even got surprised too, and what sometimes I do when I'm outside and something struck to my mind, like when I'm outside I am watching somebody very uh, seriously, and observe something, if I get something, I open my phone camera and start recording immediately. Just record
That's
immediately
cool.
first or whatever. So I have recorded a lot of raw videos wherever I
Hmm.
am. Just start recording, even voice note sometimes if I'm not able to record the whole in video form. So that these are the things I do, and so I think observation, watching, consistency in the learning gives me the ideas.
I think this is the process of every creator.
Hmm.
Brainstorming or just like randomly you get a word and you feel like, of course, I can create something out of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
How much time do you have? Can we continue it or
Yes, we can. We can continue. Yeah.
like who are your inspirations in context of like what you are doing right now? You in your niche, conversational videos. Whose video do you like a lot?
I think there are a lot of people I admire and I love to listen to. So
Yes.
I don't support that much the spoken English kind of context. I much support the communication skill in which your
Hmm.
body language, your facial expressions, the tone, pace, everything speaks when you talk.
Hmm.
That's what I like the most. And people who are very good public speakers and give speeches on stages. That's what I think want to acquire. So in that niche itself, and somewhere I don't know why I have the kind of affection towards that feminism, you can say. Like, I whenever I interact with a person, a female who is doing something great in her life, or at least trying to do something on
Yes.
their own, so that's what I admire the most. So in they are like correlated. At the same time, you are very confident, assertive woman doing something
Hmm.
on your own, and very good at communication skills. So in this case, I admire a lot Priyanka Chopra and Sushmita Sen. The way they speak, the way they present themselves, the way they
Hmm.
talk, walk, act, everything
Yes.
I love about them. Yeah.
So, and what about this community which we have? Like I am also part of this community now, I believe. Like we are approaching people and
Hmm.
asking them to come to our channel, or they are asking us to. So, with whom you have interacted and felt like, of course, this was really fruitful. In my case, it was Santa ma'am because that was my first conversation, and I like right away I knew that if I meet people like her, then definitely I can continue doing this.
I think many people have made me feel this. Many. And they are my
Yes, you have been doing
subscribers.
it for 2 years, right?
The surprising thing is that they are my subscribers, and they
Yes.
genuinely loved this, the way of speaking, and they admire this thing, and they immerse themselves into this thing. Like, they
Hmm.
genuinely make efforts and allocate separate time for themselves to practice it. Because this
Hmm.
practicing every day, when you are not very famous, when you are not on YouTube, when nobody is watching you, when nobody is appreciating you, at that time alone, if you are putting effort, that means a lot. Like, it's not easy,
Definitely.
it is monotonous.
Hmm.
We are able right now, I'm able because somebody, like, people are pushing me a lot. I feel happy, I feel content when I get these comments. And even, like, I am able to see the results in my students also. So there are a lot of factors who are, every day making me to get up and start working again and start reading again. But in
Yes.
those people's life, when they don't have that environment, when there is nobody to appreciate, when nobody is looking at
Hmm.
them, still they are doing that, inspires me a
Yes.
lot when they share that like, they don't have, and I know they are not YouTubers. That, I
Yes.
think, is the biggest thing, and I have met a lot of people like that. A lot.
Mm. And I think you have been connecting with paid platforms too, where you connect with tutors. So how was that for you?
uh,
Clapping
Earlier,
Go or yes.
when I started, I joined Clapping for 3 months. Later, for a few months, I don't remember exactly, maybe 2 months, 2 to 3 months,
Mm.
I was there on English Yari too. So that was, I think, great start for me, because
Mm.
from there I got that constructive feedback. Because I
Mm.
believe that nobody can make you fluent until and unless you practice yourself and you take the constructive feedback seriously. So the good
Definitely.
part is that I got great tutors and I got the feedback and I took that seriously, and then I worked. So from there I learned a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great.
This is yes. I have seen a lot of videos. Like in my when I was in class 11th or 12th, I used to come across those videos a lot. Like people talking, some foreigners, or I think
Hmm.
Cambly. That app is called Cambly, right? Where
Cambly,
you
yeah.
meet a lot. So I used to watch a lot of those videos. Now this is the
Hmm.
last question, and I guess you must have been asked this countless times. Tips to improve this language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, any further question?
Yes, like is there any tips that you want to give to audience that they can improve their language? Last question.
Language. I
Yes.
think for language, I have shared a lot of tips and tricks
Yes, that's
already.
what
But the major, I believe, is consistency and patience are the major key if you are learning any language. So be patient with it and be consistent. So practice is a very cringe word now. I know, but they need to do it. They need
but
to
very
take it away.
important word.
Essential, yes, it is essential. No matter
Thank
how
you so
boring
much.
it is, hmm,
Hmm. Yes,
still
of
they
course,
have
you were
to.
saying something.
Hmm, yeah,
Practice.
practice. Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you so much, Rajni. Thank you so much for your time. It
You're
was lovely
welcome.
talking to you, and
Yes, it
hopefully we
was.
can do it in future too. Whenever you are free, let me
Oh,
know.
sure. Sure, sure, sure. And all the very best for your YouTube journey. You have just started, and
Thank
I
you.
want you to just pursue it and even continue the Sasta podcast too. I'll be watching that
Hopefully.
because I loved that. I have watched a lot of conversational, like virtual conversational videos. So I want to watch now Sasta podcast kind of things too. So keep making that too. People will love
as
that. If
yes, as
I
soon as
think
I
like if
find
I like it, people will love that.
I'll recommend my last video to you. Like I
Mm-hmm.
did with somebody from London, Sonia.
Okay.
Her name is Sonia, and we had a nice conversation. I was kind of nervous because barber did very wrong thing with me. I went to a haircut. I think we had a conversation that day
Okay.
on Sunday. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking. I had gone to the barber and
Mm-hmm.
he messed up my hair. So I was
Mm-hmm.
quite conscious that how am I looking right now? But
Mm-hmm.
that conversation, it went fine. Even with you, I really enjoyed our conversation. But then
I
with her,
watched one of your videos, one of your podcasts with somebody, and I loved that. You guys were talking about the books and the interest of
hmm
reading in Hindi, then in
yes,
English. And she was talking about like she has been reading only, I think, in English. Oh, yeah, in
hmm
Hindi too. In Hindi too. Like, and she talked about her uncle and somebody like who
yes, yes,
forced her to read a lot.
Mansi.
And yeah, so I watched that. I loved that. Yep.
I
So
want to
keep
bring
making.
people, yes, I want
Mm,
to invite more people like Mansi because this is language learning and reading is very important part of it. And they have got a lot to talk, a lot of recommendations.
mm. And one essential thing she shared was she also has done everything in English medium. Like she was in English medium, right?
Yes,
So, but she was very good at spoken English, at speaking, because she had the habit of reading, and otherwise because
reading.
her friends were also in the same school, in the same environment, but they
Hmm.
didn't have the great command over the language, and they have been asking a lot of these questions to Mansi that how did you do.
Yes.
So I think reading, she yeah, I think mentioned that reading is really essential. That helps you speak English fluently, confidently, and improves your vocabulary. Yeah,
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a
you're
great day.
welcome. Yeah, yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.